Today, we are diving into a really big leap forward in artificial intelligence, something called Gemini 3 DeepThink. And look, forget everything you know about general-purpose chatbots. This is something else entirely. It's a specialized AI built to be a partner for scientists and engineers, helping them crack some of the toughest problems out there. I mean, just think about that question for a second. What if we had a collaborator that could spot the tiny flaws we miss or find elegant solutions we just can't see and basically speed up the entire process of discovery itself? Well, that's the promise we're going to unpack today. So here's how we'll break it down. First, we'll cover the big idea behind DeepThink. Then, we're going to look at its seriously powerful reasoning engine. After that, we'll see it in action with some amazing real-world examples. And finally, we'll talk about what this all means for the future. All right, so let's start at the beginning. What exactly is DeepThink? At its core, DeepThink is a super focused AI. It was actually built with scientists, for scientists, to work on problems where the data is, well, it's messy, it's incomplete. There isn't always one clean right answer. So think less about asking it trivia questions and more about using it to navigate the very frontiers of what we know. You know, this analogy really hits the nail on the head. Most AIs we use are like a Swiss Army knife, super handy for a lot of different things. DeepThink, though, it's been engineered to be a surgeon's scalpel. It is a precision tool built specifically for the really complex, expert-level problems you find in deep scientific research. Okay, so what's actually powering this surgeon's scalpel? Let's pop the hood and take a look at its reasoning engine. Because the concept is cool, for sure, but the performance numbers, well, they really tell the story. Now, these are not your everyday high school tests. We are talking about the International Science Olympiads. This is the absolute peak of competition for the brightest young minds on the entire planet. And DeepThink is performing at a gold medal level in math, physics, and chemistry. And hitting that gold medal level isn't just about spitting back facts. It's the difference between memorizing something and truly reasoning through it. DeepThink has a deep conceptual understanding that lets it solve problems you'd find in like an advanced university course, applying what it knows on the fly. Now look at this number, 3455. Just on its own, it might not mean much to you, but believe me, in the world of competitive programming, this is a huge deal. So that's its Elo rating on a platform called Codeforces, where the absolute best programmers in the world go to compete. A score this high puts it squarely in the Grand Master tier. What this tells us is that this AI has an absolutely incredible grasp of logic and how to solve problems with algorithms. And its skills go even beyond that. It's setting brand new records on some of the toughest benchmarks that exist. Tests like ARC-AGI, which are designed to probe for real abstract thinking, and something called Humanity's Last Exam, which covers super advanced physics. These tests are designed to push AI to its absolute breaking point. So, what's the bottom line here? All these impressive scores, they aren't just for bragging rights. This deep mathematical and algorithmic power, that's the engine. That's what lets DeepThink cut through all the noise you find in real-world science, where problems are almost never neat and tidy. Okay, that's enough theory. It's time to go from the abstract to the concrete. Let's take a look at how DeepThink is already making a real impact out there in the world. Just read this quote for a second. Imagine you've been working for years on a highly technical paper. You have it reviewed by experts in your field, and then an AI comes along and finds a tiny but critical flaw that every single person missed. Well, that is exactly what happened here. This comes from the work of a mathematician at Rutgers, Lisa Carbone. She's working on concepts so advanced that there's almost no data to train an AI on. But even so, DeepThink was able to analyze her paper and find that logical flaw. I mean, this isn't just a helpful tool. This is a total game changer for scientific accuracy. It's like having a superhuman peer reviewer on your team. And DeepThink's impact isn't just in the world of pure theory. It's also being used to create real, tangible things, from fine-tuning complex lab recipes to generating actual physical prototypes. So, over at Duke University, a lab was trying to grow these specific semiconductor crystals to a really exact size, which is an incredibly tricky process. They fed all the variables into DeepThink, it analyzed the whole problem, and it came back with a whole new fabrication recipe. And the result? They nailed their target perfectly, something they had really struggled to do before. But this next capability, this is where things start to feel, well, kind of like magic. Imagine being able to take a simple sketch you drew on a piece of paper. The way it works is just so direct. DeepThink looks at the 2D drawing, it figures out the geometry, it builds a complex 3D model in its head, and then it spits out the exact file you need for a 3D printer. And turn it into a physical object in your hands. This just radically shrinks the gap between a concept and an actual creation. It could accelerate engineering and prototyping in ways we couldn't even imagine just a few years ago. So, all of this naturally leads to a really big question. What does this mean for the future of discovery? And maybe more importantly for some of you, how can people actually start using this incredible tool? Well, the good news is it's starting to become available. For regular consumers, it's being rolled out in the Gemini app for Google AI Ultra subscribers. And for the pros, it's being opened up through the Gemini API for certain researchers and companies who are part of an early access program. And that right there is really the main takeaway. This technology represents a fundamental shift. This is not just a faster computer or a better search engine. This is the beginning of a totally new kind of partnership. A partnership between human creativity and artificial intelligence in our collective search for knowledge. Which leaves us with one last pretty exciting question to chew on. With a powerful new collaborator like this on the team, what problem that we think of today as completely unsolvable is going to be the very next one to fall?